But I do want to bring on our next guest, Kelsey, who I have met through the Shift Up Now group. And Kelsey is one of the Formula Drift drivers. And so, welcome. I'm very glad to have you on with us tonight.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kelsey, if you don't already know me.
Yeah, so to get started, can you just tell us more about how you got started in drifting and then has your career evolved?
So, I got started in drifting back in 2008, quite a long time ago, and the scene has definitely evolved since then. I started back going to the track with my stock Nissan 240SX, open diff, stock suspension, nothing done to it. The only thing I had going for it was that it was a 5-speed manual. And, it was just all about going to the track and having fun. I had no idea that it would kind of evolve into what is now pretty much my career. But it started really small and just kind of spiraled into becoming a Formula Drift driver.
That's awesome. So how long have you been in Formula Drift Driver?
So I earned my Pro 2 license back when it was called Pro 2 before Pro Spec. I earned my Pro 2 license in 2015. So 2015 was my first season competing in Formula Drift. So that means this upcoming season is going to be my 10th season with Formula Drift, which is just insane to think about.
Wow, that is so impressive. So do you have any advice? I know we've been talking a lot, but just kind of with your history, just really quickly, do you have any advice for the beginners that are on the call with us tonight?
I would say the best advice I can give is keep it simple to start with. Don't go too far outside your means to chase some sort of dream, because at the end of the day, you want to focus on longevity. What is going to work long term? And if you are going outside your means to go to events and buy tires and like overbuild your car to begin with, it's not going to last. Keep it simple until you can build up to a point that will bring in more, so to speak. If your dream is, say, Formula Drift, keep it simple at first.
Yeah, that's so true. And that relates so much to social media as
Mhm.
well. If you are trying to grow your social media, you don't have to go out and hire an agency and have a big production team follow you around and have these very high produced videos because they'll probably flop. You want to keep it simple and start small with your social media. And so you can use your phone to pretty much record or take a picture of anything. I mean, the cameras on these iPhones are so good. Like I take way better pictures with my phone than I do with a camera. Um, so start simple, start small. I like to always start out with a content calendar and plan out my post ahead of time. So I'm not being, frank or, looking at Instagram and be like, oh, I haven't posted in over a week. What am I like? I don't have anything to share. So I like to tell my students and racers to just start off with a content calendar. And so I will literally go into like my Google calendar and I will pick what days am I posting? Is it 3 days a week? Is it 4 days, 5 days, 6 days? How consistently can I post each week? And then I will then go in and write, okay, my event is coming up this weekend. So a few days before, I will do a post to tell people, hey, this is where I'm going to be at. And, this is where you can watch. And then of course, after the event, do like a debrief of how it went, what happened. If I could do like a video to show emotions and what's going on, like that type of content always does really well. But yeah, my best advice is to start off with a calendar. And I love what you said, Kelsey, to start simple. So for you, since you have been doing this such a long time, has social media evolved and become more important for your partners and your sponsors than it was 10 years ago? Because I know 10 years ago, social media, it was still I I think it was still just like getting started when it comes to marketing and brands really understanding that this could be a marketing tool.
Absolutely. Yeah. When back in 2015, when I started with Formula Drift, it was more so Facebook was still the main thing then. You know, Instagram was still pretty new. TikTok did not exist.
Yeah.
You know, so Facebook was kind of that main thing. So the move to do the big move that I made starting out was, oh, I made a fan page versus having like a personal page, was making that fan page. And I thought, oh, like this is what I need to be doing, and this is it kind of thing. But how much it has evolved, and with YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, just everything has grown. And being an influencer now, influencer was not something that was a
Right.
thing 10 years ago. So for me, it's actually been kind of difficult. I've always been more of an in the moment person. So even now, I have to remind myself, oh, shoot, let me pick up my phone and film this because I have to be an influencer now. Companies really want these influencers on social media because it comes across as more organic versus them putting money towards a commercial to have real people living real lives going out to their competitions or races and using these products. It comes across more organic and it helps sell the products better.
Yes, that is so true. And yeah, I know everyone hates the word influencer, but that it's true. But you know, everybody is an influencer, whether you are on social media or you're not. You know, just think of how many people do you talk to in person on a daily basis, and are you, you know, you're talking about, you know, what type of coffee you like to drink, where you bought some new clothes at. Like that's all being an influencer. You're influencing them to, you know, go to this store or buy this brand. So just try, like I always like to tell people, like it's not as bad as it seems. But I get where the stigmatism comes from being an influencer, because I remember like back in the day when it really like hit off and everyone was like, oh, I'm an influencer, you know, I get paid to post this. But now that has come into the motorsports industry, and racers nowadays are brand ambassadors, which also means that they are an influencer. So I love what you said there. Is social media content really important to your sponsors, and you know, posting about the products and how it helps you with your events and stuff like that?
I would say yes and no. I would say the majority of my partners do very highly value social media. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have millions and millions of followers to be able to say, deliver for said partner. Sometimes it's just the engagement of the posts that they value, or just the type of content that you can create for them to post on their social media channels. So, in general, yes, I would say social media is very important to my partners. However, it does take a conversation to find out what each partner is looking for. Some really highly value social media. However, there might be others that, maybe more so value, say, that lead generation that was mentioned before, and just all the information from all the information from, like, say, the people at the events, or in-person activations. You have to find out what each partner values. But overall, I would say the majority of my partners are finding social media of great value right now.
Yeah, and what I love that you said the engagement matters, because that kind of goes back to what Alex was saying earlier, where he has found better engagement with smaller groups versus the big companies that have, you know, the hundreds and thousands and millions of followers or customers. And that's what I found too, is the follower count doesn't matter as much as it used to before, because now the engagement rate is what matters, because you can have 100 followers, but if they're all bots and ghosts, then
Mhm.
that's not going to help out you or your sponsor ever when you are trying to, you know, maybe pitch your product to sell or sign up for something. So being able to have really engaged followers on social media will make such a huge difference. And really it comes from the likes, comments, saves, and shares. So that's how you can measure if your audience is actually engaging with your post. And unfortunately, not all of your followers see all of your posts. I think maybe 10% on a good day see your posts. So if you have 10,000 followers, well, only 10% of them are actually seeing that post. And so, and then a smaller percentage of them are actually engaging with it and they actually like that content that you put out. So, yeah, the follower count really isn't as important as it used to be. It's just a vanity metric. And I have been seeing brands kind of, not have a requirement for that. And that's where like the terms like the micro influencers and nano influencers are coming into play, because people that only have 500 followers, they might be a micro influencer, but they can still get sponsorship deals because they have, maybe they have 100 of that 500 people are super engaged and they talk to them every single day and they know all about each other and they have a really good relationship. And so as soon as that person makes a post to promote a company or a brand, those 100 people are going to be the first ones to sign up. And that's 100% success rate. So going back to your social media and your sponsors, are you required to post like a certain amount of posts on social media? Or are you supposed to promote a certain product when you are setting up the deals with them?
Yes and no. Again, it comes down to which partner we're talking about. For example, when I'm working with 303 or Staybill, I do have a specific post calendar, like you mentioned before, where we want to promote certain products over other products. You have to find out, okay, what products are they really looking to push in the market right now, and those are typically what they want to have posted about. Not that you can't post about any of their other products, because obviously if you use them, they want it to be out there that this is your lifestyle, you use these products in real life. But it's always important to say, go up and ask the company, do you have any new products coming out this year? What are the products that you want to see more sales of? How can I help you push these certain products? Is there any specific way or any specific light you want these products to be seen in? Really finding out what the company wants is really helpful. But some companies may just give you free reign. They may say, okay, yeah, like we want to see a minimum of 4 posts from you throughout the year, but do what you want, so to speak. Sometimes that's actually the hardest partner to work with, because
Yes.
you're never really sure what they want or what they're happy with. You kind of are putting things out there and you're grasping at straws. So I always prefer the partners where I can get more information from, like, what works for you, what do you like to see more of, because then I can really go off of that and build off of that.
Yes, exactly. I'm actually going through that right now with a partner. And like, yes, they have been very vague. Like we agreed upon 6 posts. They don't care when, they don't care if it's a video or a picture or like what product is promoting. And so I am struggling with like, okay, how am I going to create this? Because now it's like it's so wide open. Like I don't know like which direction I'm gonna go in with each one. And then it's like, I want to make sure like I make them happy too and not miss something. So yes, it is so much easier if like they have at least some like parameters set of what they expect. So
But I will say
yeah.
this is also an opportunity. If you find a partner that isn't really sure of what they want, maybe that's a partner that's somewhat new to social media marketing. I do have a couple partners that this is kind of a new thing for them. Sponsorship is a new thing. So they're not exactly sure what they want. And sometimes it's using your experience as an influencer and as an ambassador and say, well, this has been really successful for my other partners. So let's try this with your brand and see how that works. And based on how it performed at the end of the year, let's look at that. And if it didn't work, let's pivot. If it worked, hey, let's build upon that. So sometimes you can use that as an opportunity to really guide your partners. And then they're grateful because they get this knowledge and this help deciding what they want. But then again, sometimes it is difficult just because you never know.
Yeah, no, that's such a good tip though. So what is your preferred platform? And are you on LinkedIn? I see we have a comment that asked about LinkedIn.
So my preferred platform is probably Instagram, simply because that's the one I am more active with, and I feel like there is a large millennial demographic there. Earlier it was mentioned. I think Amanda mentioned, each of her motorsports that she competes in, they kind of have a different demographic. Formula Drift is very millennial based. And I find that Instagram kind of fits that demographic because of the amount of millennials on there. I almost feel like there's an older demographic on Facebook because, 10 years ago that was the main platform. And now some of the younger, Gen X, Gen Z, whatever they call these generations now, they are gravitating more towards TikTok. So sometimes it's a matter of figuring out what demographic is your partner looking for, and do you utilize a platform that will reach that demographic accurately. As far as LinkedIn, I do have a LinkedIn. I don't use it probably as much as I should. I'm not very active on it, but it is a good place to have more, I would say, B2B conversations. It's a great place to say network and connect with other people in your industry. It's less so, I think, for reaching, say, the consumers. Not saying that there aren't consumers on there, because, hey, if we're all in the industry, all of us are technically consumers. But as far as being a consumer based platform, I think that it's more of the Facebook, the YouTube, the TikTok, the Instagram, and things like that.
Yeah. Are you on YouTube?
I am on YouTube, but I'm kind of going through a revamp of my YouTube. I used to mainly do event recap videos on my YouTube, but I'm starting to think that those aren't maybe as successful. So I want to switch to more of a vlog style because it's more in the moment versus a, hey, this is like an event recap. This is what happened this weekend, and it's maybe a little more boring that way versus an in the moment, maybe behind the scenes type thing. So this year I'm kind of hoping to kind of change up my YouTube a little bit.
Yeah. That's good. I've been doing that last year. I did more vlog style videos. But this year I'm going to be doing it more myself because last year I had a friend that was helping me with it. And so he would film everything and then edit it. But this year I'm doing it more I just am talking to the camera and doing
Mhm.
more vlog style that way. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I see that content do so well on YouTube as well. And there's such an opportunity to monetize on YouTube where
Mhm.
you really can't do that on other platforms. I know like Instagram used to have the bonuses, which
Yeah,
that was a
that was
nice
nice.
little deposit, but yeah, I really bummed that went away. So yeah. And if for LinkedIn, I am also on LinkedIn. I have not used it as much as I should have or has as I have in the past. But yeah, LinkedIn, like you said, is excellent for those B2B relationships. I love using LinkedIn for making an introduction
Mhm.
to someone or to a company, especially if it's before like the PRI show or SEMA show. And I have my eyes set on, let's say it's a tire company that I want to work with. I'll, first make sure that they're going to be attending the show. I'll go to their LinkedIn profile like a week before and I'll look at the employees. And LinkedIn tells you exactly
Mhm.
who works there and what their job title is. So it makes it so easy to find like a marketing manager or, the president. So I will look for, the important people and shoot them a message on LinkedIn and just say, hey, my name's Megan. I am a drag racer. By the way, I'm going to be at the show coming up, and I would love to have the time to meet with you at your booth and just learn more about your company. I'm not pitching to them at all. I'm not asking for a sponsorship because, like they talked about before, you don't want to ask them for money in your first conversation, but just try and make a good first impression with them. So I love using LinkedIn for those opportunities. And then for me, personally, my favorite is Instagram, but I get more engagement on Facebook, and I have a larger audience on Facebook as well, but my Facebook is older. So kind of like what you were saying, setting up the fan page, I set that up as well. And I also, if there's anybody on here that does not have a fan page or a business page set up on Facebook, you need to get that set up and stop using your personal account
Mhm.
just for that. So create the business a page as your fan account and post there. But I started that long before I started Instagram. So there is that, just that growth that was there from the beginning. But yeah, like as far as like comments, shares, link clicks, I get way more of that on Facebook. And so that tells me when I'm doing certain promos, I need to tailor them depending on which platform I'm on.
Mhm.
So like you were saying earlier too about the demographics. So if it is more for the younger audience, then I'll know to do that on Instagram and less on Facebook and vice versa. But if it is something where I'm doing a giveaway or it's where we're doing a sign up for something or selling something, I'll do more of that on Facebook because I know that will get more traffic. And Instagram makes it hard to do those things as well. You can either click on the link in a story or in the link in your bio, and they make it to where you have to do extra steps to get people to a website. And so yeah, so I do tailor my content depending on the platform because of the engagement and the type of audience on there. So going back to you, so you said Instagram's your favorite. What type of content does the best for you on Instagram?
I find that depending on, or no matter what platform I'm posting on, the best content tends to be the content where I show more of my personality. Because one thing that's very important in this world when you are trying to, say, differentiate yourself from another driver, another person, another influencer, brand ambassador, whatever it may be, it's you. It's your personality. Who do you want to be, and what do you want to convey? Because ultimately it's your story that people are going to connect with. So I am not huge into, say, doing tutorial style videos. I tend to be more of a goofball, to be honest. I like making people laugh, so I may do some funny little skits in some of my stuff, and I just find that anything where I am more personable and show my personality, that tends to connect with people more. So it does better. And another way to kind of engage with these people more and show your personality is, or at least to like boost your engagement, is comment back, reply to people. The more engagement that you can bring by showing personality and responding to comments and things like that, that overall is going to be the best thing you can do for your social media.
Yes, that's so true. Two of the best tips ever. Yeah, I love that you said that. Yeah, social media is a social platform. You have to be social. You have to talk. You have to respond to comments and messages. And, even if it is just to say thank you, you still have to do that. And it does help. I mean, the more comments that you leave, it increases your comment count, increases your engagement rate, increases your points with the algorithm to then show it to more people because people are commenting on it. So the more you can comment, it helps you out overall to get more people to comment. And I think some people just don't put that together in their head. Sometimes they just post and then get off the platform as soon as they can. Yeah, just be social. And I love that you said to show your personality and yeah, like that type of content I think will always be everybody's best content because it's what makes you stand out. Like the drift videos are really cool, but and I think actually someone commented in the chat box that I read, they asked like what type of content is kind of overrated, and someone said like the GoPro type footage. And they said like it's just getting generic and there's no messaging behind it. So I love like if you can show your personality, whether you are more serious or you're more goofy or you're more of a teacher style, like whatever your niche and your personality is, like show that online because that's how you're going to stand out. And again, kind of going like with what the other guests have been saying is you'll find that company that matches your brand and your personality, and you know you'll be a great ambassador for them.
Yeah, and actually
So
going off of
sorry,
that, yeah,
go
no,
ahead.
I was just gonna say, going off of that, I've actually legitimately had a company say to me, "Hey, look, all of these photos are great, but they all look the same." You know, to the untrained eye, or to say a company that isn't as familiar with drifting, they don't know which track is which. They just see the car drifting with a bunch of smoke, and it just all looks the same.
Yeah.
And, you know, to me, I'm thinking, well, what do you mean? Like, it looks so exciting. There's two cars next to each other. There's smoke billowing. Like, this clearly looks more exciting than no offense, I'm throwing it up, but just a drag car on the track, right? Like that has to look all the same. But really, that's the point though, is they want to see more of you, more of your personality, because at the end of the day, you are the brand ambassador and they're partnering with a brand ambassador, an influencer. They're not partnering with the car. So
Yes,
that's something to keep in
exactly.
mind.
Yes, that's so true. So, do you take your own pictures and videos and edit them, or do you hire someone to help you out with that?
Typically, at all of my Formula Drift events, I will have multiple people doing media for me. I'll have one videographer that stays with me and my team at all times. So that way, if the car breaks and we're back in the pits, he will run back to the pits to make sure he's trying to get video of repairs happening. And then I have, some media that shoot for other drivers as well, like a photographer and a videographer. Now, I'm very budget limited. So I pay them for these photos and these videos, but then I actually edit all of my stuff by myself, simply because I
Okay.
don't have the budget to be paying for edits. And that's okay, because at the end of the day, if you're being authentic and showing your personality, people aren't going to pay attention to how good the edit is online. And sometimes I kind of forget that, and I get in my head and I'm spending hours and hours trying to edit something and make it look really cool, when some of my best videos have literally just been a few clips thrown together.
Yeah.
Or, one of my best performing videos is I literally did the green screen thing, had a photo in the back, it's my face, and I told a dad joke and moved out of the way and showed the picture behind me, and it's me holding a coilover like a baby. Like, I literally just told a joke, and it did great. That's one of my
Yeah.
best performing reels, just simply because it's authentic, it's silly, it's organic. So sometimes it's important to keep in mind with that. You can easily find a photographer at the track, say, hey, like, I'll throw you $50, $100. Could you please get photos of me, video of me? You know, maybe if you have a friend or, a family member at the track, give them your phone, have them put it in video mode, take vertical video, whatever. Just having that and then working with that, like, you can do a lot with that. And same with just setting up a phone on a tripod and filming yourself. It doesn't need to be fancy to do well.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm seeing more the authentic, like unedited, raw videos are doing well on social media versus the highly edited, high production, like very professional and polished. And I think that, but it does depend on what platform it's on too. Like
Mhm.
YouTube is obviously very high edited videos, whereas I feel like TikTok nowadays is very like unedited, and TikTok is now like long version videos. But then I feel like Instagram is in the middle. Like I feel like Instagram wants some edits, but not too much, not too little. And then Facebook, I feel like is just kind of whatever. Like I can't really figure that. Facebook is trying to just like the catch all. Um, but yeah,
Well, and
so
that's what's difficult, to be honest, too, with there's always changing trends, and then with
yes,
algorithms, for a while they were pushing reels, and then it came to then they started pushing carousels. So sometimes
yeah.
it's really hard to just keep up with the trends. So at the end of the day, like I said, the best advice I could ever give would just be yourself, and create that organic following that will follow you no matter what you post, because they want to see you.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so just to wrap up, one last question for you is how has social media helped you get sponsors? Like, has it been, to do kind of like what Amanda was saying, like the paid advertising, or has it just been that engagement and that organic relationships you're building with your followers?
I would say the biggest thing social media has helped as far as, say, finding partners is it's basically a resume. They can go on your social media and see what you have done for other companies. And let's say, for example, you are just starting out, maybe you don't have any partners yet. Fake it till you make it. Do some review on some product that you happen to really like, or a company that you would love to work with in the future, or something that you use all the time. Show yourself using it, because that then becomes an example of what you can create for a company that you do work with in the future. So, treat your social media as a resume, but as a place to show your work. And that at the end of the day is really going to help you out.
Yeah, that's such great advice. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Kelsey. You had so much good stuff to say. So I hope all of our listeners took notes on that. So thank you again, and I
Thank
will
you,
hand it
Kelsey.
back over to Alex.
Hey,
Thanks for
treat
having me.
your social media as a resume. That's great. I love that. I love that because it's so true. Everything's online, everything's digital, everything traces back to us. Kelsey, I'll see you hopefully next month at Long Beach Formula Drift. Are you going to be there?
Unfortunately, won't be at Long Beach, but I'll
Oh,
be at
no.
Road Atlanta. Yeah.
All right. I don't know if I'll make Atlanta, but one of these events, I'll be there.
Awesome. See
All
you
right.
soon.
Thank you both. You guys did great.